Hi,
Okay,
Sagar.
so
This is my first class. So yesterday I didn't attend. So today is
you could not join the previous class?
no. Today only I discussed with your counselor, and today only I got that link.
Okay, okay, fine.
Hi, even myself also today only joining. So
Okay. So you came to know about the demo today, or
Yes.
all right, okay.
Hi, sir. Good evening.
Yes, go ahead.
Joseph here. I have also joined today only. I was not able to join yesterday.
Mhm.
So this is my first class.
All right. So guys, those could not join for some reason. There is the recording on our YouTube channel. Let me post you the link so you can go ahead and check this after this particular demo. So we are not covering any topic, so you need not to worry. This is a introductory class, or I can say it's a demo class to understand how we proceed with the batch. What are we going to cover? What are the different modules here? So don't worry if you not attended the previous class, you have not missed anything yet. Okay, the actual class will start from the next Monday. So today's workshop and the previous day workshop is just where we are trying to understand what is automation, and you as a participant, you would be kind of making your own conclusion whether this is the right course that you need to enroll for, or this is the right skill set that you're looking for. Okay, so who else is joining for the very first day? If you want, you guys can let me know about yourself, like if you're from a automation background or have you done any automation, what exactly you're looking from this batch, what is the purpose of you being here.
Yes, Sagar. So this is Manohar. So actually I'm from manual testing. So now from protocol side. But as of now we need to change manual to automation. So I need to learn Python with automation, networking automation. So how we are doing automation in networking side, networking protocol side.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Who is going next?
yeah, myself Radhika. Even I mostly I have worked in manual automation. Also I work, but it's very little. I just wanted to have good knowledge. That's why I'm just looking for the
So
automation side.
yeah. So Radhika, are you the one who called me today? You said someone told me that he was working for manual testing and would like to shift to the automation.
From my side, Sagar. So I
Okay.
have discussed with them. Then Radhika, one of my colleague. So I
Okay.
have given link to her to join and discussing regarding the demo and all. So
Okay.
once demo is interested, you can also join.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Okay. All right. Who is going next?
Hi Sagar, I am Brahmam.
Yeah. Hi, Brahman.
Yeah, I'm pursuing CCNP and SD-WAN. After finishing of SD-WAN, I will go through this uh, mm, automation also. I'm interested on it, but the basic should be learn after this. I will go through this.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm interested. After finishing of that, I will go through this course.
Yeah. Sure. So at that time, you don't have to wait for the demo to get over.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. All right. Anyone else who is joining for the very first time and is curious to see some real time examples? All right. So we can get started. But let me, as I have already introduced, but let me introduce myself. My name is Sagar, and I'll be the trainer for this batch. I hold CCNP, Encore, Score, and Devnet certification. My skill set is in enterprise automation and security domain. So this batch is about network automation for network engineers This is the this is where the course curriculum is posted. If you see the course module, we will start with Python theory first, which are from 1st to 8th module. After setting up a Python theory, then we will get into the Python libraries. These are some of the Python library which are SSH capable. You know what is SSH protocol? The protocol which is responsible for the remote connection to the box. So this is the protocol which we would be talking between the script and the device. So we need a protocol intermediately, right? So these are some of the SSH based protocol: Netmiko, NEPAM, PyNTC, Paramicos, CAPI, subprocess. And within each module, you will see the in detail, like what are we going to discuss in that. If it's a lab, then what is the expectation? So let's say I would be setting up the enable password configuration mode. Let's say I'm running a multiple command from the files, or I'm running any sort of try exceptional from the requirement. Let's say I have a requirement: when a device fails, my script should not be terminated. It should still go to the next device. So every module will have the lab details or lab title mentioned clearly. So these are how we would be proceeding one after one. So you can see that after under every section, there are certain labs. Okay, so these are all the real case studies. Like if you want to capture the output, you want to store it in a notepad, you want to read from the Excel and then execute, you want to capture something in the Excel output, you want to run the regex, you want to configure VLAN, you want to configure OSPF, any XYZ scope of a network engineer is what is being converted into the real case studies. So each one is set to do something which is relevant with your network automation. So once the Python is done, once we are done with the Python coverage, then we will go to the next module, which is called Ansible. In the Ansible section, I will cover the Ansible Galaxy, Ansible Tower, writing of playbook, Ansible Vault, Ansible ad hoc commands. So all those detail you can find within the section here. All right. So after Ansible, we will start with the API automation, API network automation. So I'll be considering the vendors like Palo Alto, FortiGate, F5, SD-WAN, DNAC. These are some examples that I would be targeting with the API automation. And then we will move on to the certificate, Cisco certificate 200901. This is the associate level. The blueprint, of course, you can check it over on the Cisco website by. See, this is the PDF for 200901. So in case if you're looking from the certification point of view, then this is the certification that we would be covering up in this module. So how many modules are we going to touch? We will be covering Python theory, Python libraries, Ansible, API, DevNet. Now, there is one more module which I have introduced for the very first time. It's called PyATS. PyAT is the Cisco's patented tool for regression testing. So this is something which I've included because I hear many times people asking you during the interview whether you have worked on PyATS, have you done a unit test or regression test. So this is something which I have introduced to this existing syllabus. So this would be the first batch where I'm taking another add-on module called PyAT. In case during the course time, if we see something else is coming up, then definitely I'll take those topics as well in the class, and I would like to discuss about them. Okay, anything which comes up in course of this time, I'll take it in the class and I'll just give you some pointers about it. And the last section here is for project. Now, what is project? Let's say you want to build your own script writing capabilities, right? So you would expect if I give you a project or a requirement, you can build it on yourself, submit it, then we can discuss in the live class. I can correct you. This is right, this is wrong, this could have been this could have been be done this way. So this will help you to build your own writing skill. So that is what this module is about. So this module is not something for me to demonstrate. Instead, it will be the other way around. I'll be giving you some assignment during the course of time. I'll give you some requirement that I want this. Get me the script done. So you will have the access to our remote lab. You will do the needful things, submit the project over on our learning portal, and then in the live class, I will ask you like what was done from your end, what does this line refers to. So kind of an interactive session to understand where you stand. Okay, this is the complete syllabus. It will take minimum 2 to 2.5 months. This is a weekdays batch as of now. We also have a weekend batch which should start bit late, might be August end. I've already told few people who are looking for the weekend. So that would be weekend. Let me just put it over here. I would prefer you go with the weekdays. The reason is it is daily 1 hour, right? Also the continuity or the consistency would be more. If it is a weekend, if you lose 1 or 2 class, then it's difficult for you to catch up. So we got 2 batch. So right now I'm first gonna take the weekdays batch, which is starting from the August 7, Monday. It would be 9:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. India. The parallel batch for the weekend guys would start somewhere August end or September 1st. This would be 9 a.m. IST to 12 p.m. IST, which would be a broader section, 3 hours. Whereas this would be 1 hour. So someone who is very beginner, it's preferable that you take 1 hour session rather than 3 hours. But again, 3 hours also in past, I have seen people with very fresh or beginner level have joined 3 hours and have been constantly dedicated or kept their focus throughout 2 months. Okay. So this would be like 2 to 3 months. And this would be also close to very similar 2 to 3 month itself, because we are covering almost like 5 hours here on a weekdays, and this would be 3 plus 3 with 15 to 15 minutes break. So almost similar, 5 hours again. So the completion rate would be very close enough. And also remember, it will definitely be over before the Christmas. So in case you have your annual shutdown or you have plans during the annual shutdown or Christmas, you need not to worry. We are not gonna go till that extent. So August, September, October. So might be October or November, both the batches would be wind up. Okay, we have enough time if in case you join this. And also this might probably be my last batch of this year, because I cannot start any fresh batch in October, November. That will definitely overlap the annual shutdown and there will be a lot of discontinuity. So I would prefer to keep it in the Jan mid onwards. All right, so that was regards to the batch. I've already told you what are we going to cover in this batch. It's Python theory for someone who is never into programming. Then we get started with the Python libraries. We have close to 7 to 9 libraries that we would be covering. Each library will have its own set of case studies, from very regular basic to very advanced thing, fetching from Excel, taking backup, doing the diff check, generating HTML report. Okay, almost all the case studies would be covered here. Then we go towards the Ansible. Then we go towards the API network automation. As I told you, we have introduced something called PyATS now. And then finally, we will go with the Cisco Devnet curriculum. And the project would be from the topics that we would be going class by class. So let's say if I cover something from theory part, I'll give you like one project from there. Later on, when I complete some more topic from the library, I would give you another 2 to 3 project. So this is how the project will go hand by hand, and you will have enough time, 2 to 4 days, to complete this, and then we discuss in the next class. So that's about the curriculum.
Hi,
Okay.
Sagar.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you elaborate once again? I missed something.
What part you want me to elaborate?
So how was the curriculum? Can you tell me once again?
Okay. See, we are starting with Python theory. All right. So there would be at least a 1 week of Python theory. Then we will go with Python library. There are now 7 to 9 libraries here. So we will discuss each library at a time with its own case studies. Say, for example, I'm first considering NetMiko. So we would be discussing multiple case studies over on NetMiko. Then we go with the next module, let's say Paramiko, then its own case studies. Then we go with, let's say, NEPAM, then its own case studies. Then let's say we go with the Nornier or PyNTC, right? So this is how the Python library section would be completed. Then we get into something called Ansible. Then its own topics here, building up of it, Ansible Tower or AWX, writing of playbook, ad hocs, Galaxy, right? So all its topic. Then we
And
get in.
how we will be assigning the projects?
See, project will come as we complete few topics here. Let's say when I complete a few topics from the NetMiko, then I'll give you project here. Then
Okay.
when I complete some project, when I complete some topic from Paramiko, I'll give you a project here. Then when I complete something from NEPAM, I would give you a project here, right?
Okay.
Similar
Will
way
be
when I,
cumulative.
sorry?
Will be cumulative, right?
See, it will be dedicated as per the topic, and then there will be a final project which should cover the whole whatever we discussed in the last 2 months. Okay,
Mhm.
the initial
Okay.
project would be topic by topic.
Mhm.
All right, so you will expect one project. Let's say I will ask you to create a playbook and run it over on Palo Alto to fetch or to configure some policy. So that kind of things. It will be going, topic by topic from the beginning itself.
Mhm. And the lecture part which you said that weekend batch will be there and regular batch will be there.
Hmm.
And we being part of a networking experience, you
Hmm.
know that not necessarily weekends are holidays for us.
Hmm.
So in that cases, if we miss the lecture, or even during the office hours, the lectures are there, and we have missed it. And during that time, you have assigned the projects or you have discussed the projects. How can we catch up with you?
See, now first thing is you will take one of the batch, either weekend or weekdays. And in this weekdays batch or weekend batch, all the classes are getting recorded, which would be put up on the live class. So if you miss something, you have to go and watch it, those recording, before the next class or before joining the next live class.
Okay, but when I watch those videos,
Hmm.
okay, and during that time, if I have some queries or I have some discussions regarding, so how can I catch up with
We
you?
are all connected over WhatsApp, right? You can just put in the common group and I'll reply.
Okay.
Okay, so it's very simple here. In Network Journey, we create a common group for the enrolled people. If you are stuck anywhere, you don't have to wait for the live class to start. I am already part of that WhatsApp group. You share in that group and I'll help you immediately in a real time.
Okay.
All right, so after Ansible, PyATS, then API, and finally the DevNet 200901. Correct. So these are from the topic. In the last class, we discussed a very common topic, like what are the traditional networking things that you do, and why do you need automation. So I'll just kind of do a compiled report here. The traditional pointers that I got from the audience in the last demo was like manual push of firewall rules, manual configuration of routing protocols, manual configuration of VLANs, taking manual reports, doing the manual iOS upgradation, doing a manual pre-checks, manual post-check, the diff reports, everything which is relevant or which is dependent on a network engineer is always a time consuming point number one, and human error as well. That's the risk involved. There is chances during the change window you might copy the device one config into device two and bring the whole network down. So this is where this human errors are being tried to avoid by introducing automation. All right, so let's say I had set few topics that we would be discussing today. So in those topic, we said we'll talk about something called agent and agentless. So do you know like what's the difference between agent versus agentless? Where do you think you will deploy anything that's required to automate? How is the deployment works?
So is it agent? Does it mean the platform needed to execute the automation? Like
No. You need those platform irrespective of agent or agent. In both the side, you need the platform.
okay, but I did go through some basics of Python. That's a IDE, that is development environment for Python. So does it?
No, that has
On
nothing
the
to do
agent?
with agent or agentless.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, see, for example, let me just put a very casual, the deployment method. Let's say this is where the network engineer is on a remote site. So here is where he is gonna install all the needful thing, the ID, the Python program, the Python libraries on his machine. On the other side is where you have your enterprise. Enterprise in the sense your client, okay, on a different data center, different geographical region, etc., etc. And he has all his devices inside this premises. So first thing first, you need the reachability. So definitely you have internet. You have internet, you have VPN, you have MPLS, 4G, LTE, whatsoever. Any transport carrier is fine. Let's assume that you have a reachability. So over on which protocol would you be taking the access? You would be taking the access on simple SSH. On simple SSH, or it fits a graphical base, you can make use of a HTTPS, right? We will never take it on telnet, because you know what's the drawback of using telnet. They are a plain text protocol which will reveal your credentials along with the output of show command, whereas the rest are encrypted format. So this is how we connect in the regular network domain. To connect to any box, I will do a SSH to them. I physically need not to be present in front of the box and do the serial console or aux cable. That's very rare scenario. I never do a console to the box and automate it. I might be somewhere in a corner and the device could be in a different corner of the world. So I'm connected via SSH, HTTPS. These are some of the protocol. Now, when I say SSH, there are certain packages that supports SSH, like Netmiko, Nornia, Paramiko, right? PyNTC. These are some Python libraries that supports SSH. Similar way, the HTTPS can be handled by a library called request. So with the help of these packages on the ID is nothing but the tool where we write our script. Like you can use Microsoft Visual Studio, PyCharm. There are 100 of such Python IDs. Now you will start writing your script and you're good to, fire up your script and fetch the details. You want to send commands, show IP int brief from the script, fine, you do it. And then you will expect the output coming back to you, which you can read it on your machine. So it is also following some sort of source and destination, or you can say client server model. Simple keyword that we use in networking, client and server. So your client is where you have put all the needful tools, libraries, IDs, etc. Server is on the remote side where you would be initiating over on SSH or HTTPS. You need the respective libraries now, Python libraries, using which you can initiate this protocol, right? Now, agent and agentless. Now, agent and agentless in the sense, Python, Ansible are considered as agentless, whereas Chef, Puppet, these automation tools are considered as agent. Now, let me tell you what is the difference. Agentless in the sense, whatsoever automation you do not need to install any particular extension on these local devices. There is no need of installing anything. You have SSH, you have HTTPS, you can get the things moving. Okay, any library, let's say Netmiko library, request library, Nornier library of Pythons and Ansible, they're considered as agentless. They don't need any extension on the device to perform their operation. They have the protocol set up, fine, you trigger the script. Now coming to Chef and Puppet, they do need something. Otherwise, the automation tool will not work. So we have to install a small, like let's say 2 KB of extension or a add-on to these devices, and then let's say you have Chef or Puppet on your client side. Now this is how they will talk to each other. The agent installed on the network device will keep on sending all the information if there is any triggers, if there is any resource utilization, if there is any any notification in you want to carry some config push or whatsoever it is. This agent and the server needs to talk, or they would communicate to each other. Only then they will work. So those type of automation tools are considered as agent. Now these are very less popular or least popular. The reason is, most of the client are not happy to install any XY add-ons on their device, because who knows, these add-ons are giving a backdoor vulnerabilities to the attackers, or who knows what these add-ons are gonna send the sensitive data outside of the network. So the client do not entertain you installing any add-ons on the device. He will say, I am giving you the access over SSH and HTTPS. Now you can trigger the automation via any means. You can use Python, you can use API, you can use whatsoever you want, but I will not let you to install anything on my servers or my devices, because I do not know what are you going to install and what data would you be taking out of this extension. So there is chance of this backdoor attacks. Backdoor is something which is vulnerable to certain weak point of your device. So let's say if you put some add-ons and if a port is being enabled, now on this port there is chances the attacker can do a DOS attack, or he can try to connect over on the device over on that port, scan the complete network, get the info of the rest of the device. So there are certain clients who do not agree to install such things. But again, in this network automation world, we have both the option: agentless, agentless in the sense you do not need anything on the remote side. You have SSH, HTTPS, you're good to go with the automation. Whereas the agent is somewhere you need to rely on this extension. Yes, Manoranjan, you got any question? I see you have raised your hand. Okay, any question? This topic, any question?
Yeah, sorry, I was speaking on mute. First is, can we, raise hand and ask questions in between, or we should wait?
See, yeah, this is a demo class where there are a lot of people, but the best practice is always where you can raise up a hand, and after every topic, I'll kind of ask you to kind of ask any question and clear your doubt.
Makes sense. Thank you. Okay, so my question is, like you were mentioning that Python Ansible will be agentless and Chef Puppet are agent. My question here is, Chef and Puppet, like Python is a scripting language. Can we write code behind Chef and Puppet in Python or not? Sorry, I have no experience with Chef or Python.
See, if
Chef
you're
or Puppet, sorry, Chef or Puppet.
yeah, if you're using Chef and Puppet, then also you can use their own Python way to automate, or they have their own way inside their server, which you can use it and you can run. Basically, we can also use XML templates there to push the config.
Yeah, got the point. Like we use in Ansible, we can use the same way. We can use the same thing in. We use the Python in Chef and Puppet as well.
Yes, Chef and Puppet will have its own platforms, like it can accept YAML or XML to send the codes.
Got it. Got it. Same way it can, we can write a code in Py as well and send it.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So any further doubt? All right. Let me just let me just ask you some random questions. So what does this mean? So what does this mean? So no one is aware of print. What does this refers to?
I can answer if no one.
Yeah, go ahead. Feel free. It's a open class, so feel free. We are time bounded, so.
Yeah, so it's a bracket to be generally in the bracket, single bracket or double bracket, we write something to print or a kind
Okay.
of. I'm not very good with technical words, but yes, if you want to print something single or double bracket, we can use to print it. The similar.
Okay. So
Input
what
is
what
Is it
does
a string?
Hmm?
Is it a string?
Which one? Are you referring to print or are you referring
No,
to
hello
input?
world. Hello world.
Yeah, hello
between
world
the
is
quotes.
yes, hello world is string right now.
Between the quotes, yeah.
Yes.
input is like giving the data, and print is like printing the output.
Okay. So input is what?
Giving the data or entering the data.
Okay. So where do you think we will use input, and where do we think we'll use print?
Wherever we want to give network commands, we can use input, and the result of those commands should come under like print.
Okay. Say for example, I want to send a command. Send command. So here is where I can ask the network administrator or engineer, enter your CLI command. Okay. Now this will prompt the user to put something from the user side. So the user will come over here and type show IP int brief. Now your script will send it to the device, get it triggered, and then the output of that you would see it using the print function. So you will say you would like to see what send command is storing. And this is nothing but this would be the output from your Cisco or whatever vendor you have. So this is the output. So I can say that print is output, input is your input command. So have you heard this term called IO? I stands for input, O stands for output, right? So input is when you're collecting the information from the user. Output is when, or output or print is when you want the script to read out the message for you. You as a user want to see what is the output or message that you have received back. So this is very basic thing where people during the interview will ask what is the difference between input and print. Okay, let me ask one more general question. What does this mean? What is X and what is automation here?
X is a variable and it stores the automation keyword in that.
Okay. So X is a variable which is storing some data inside it. So any variable in programming, variable in the sense it's a empty container. So you can store the data. Let's say now I have stored the data called automation. So the data is within this. Now I can also, would like to read what is present. So I can just add print to this variable and see what is the data present inside that. All right, X equals to automation. Now if I say X, Y, Z equals to 10. So what does this mean?
10 will be stored into the XYZ variable.
So how you represent 10 in Python? What type it is?
It's integer, I think.
Constant.
Number.
There is no constant key, terminology.
Integer.
Integer it will be.
Okay, it will be integer. What would be this called?
String character.
We call it as string in Python. Okay. Now if I say X, Y equals to 10. Okay. A, B equals to 20. So this Python can also do the mathematical calculations, correct? So tell me what would be the output of this?
30.
1020.
30. 1020.
Yeah, need more output from the participant.
It's 1020.
Okay.
It will be 1020, 1020 something.
Okay. So see, I'll just give you some pointers to the beginners in case when you're stuck with such things, such logics, you can always come to the ID and then just check what would be the output. Now let's say that I said XY equals to 10. AB equals to 20. And then I would like to sum them with the plus symbol, right? So I'm expecting what's the answer. So let's say if I execute this, see the answer is 1020. Now tell me why it is 1020 and not 30.
Because 10 and 20 both are a string.
Yes.
It's in a inverted comma.
See the difference here. This is numbers, but when you embed them with the inverted commas, they lose the number property and they tend to become string. String is nothing but like a character. So when you're adding two character, let's say A plus B, result will be AB, right? If you're adding A plus B plus C, the result will be ABC. So something similar happened. You just concatenated it. This the terminology we call it as concatenation. You just joined it together. 1020 is the end result. If you want the number 30, then you should take out it from that string representation. So now you will get the result 30. So this is why the first module of the batch is to clear all your basic doubts. So in the Python theory, we will discuss everything. So then only we will start with the NetMiko classes. So even if you are familiar, it will be kind of a recap for you. If you are very first time beginner, then this is where you will learn the basic things of Python and we get started. So clear till here?
I wanted to know how long will these sessions be, like the variables or integers and strings. So you just showed the previous slide. Yeah, all this module 1, 2, 3. How many days do they take?
It will take 1 week.
1 week.
Yes.
Okay. So so the next week, when probably on 7th of August, so we would be covering all these topics, the Python theory.
From 7th we are starting, so it will go till 10th or 14th of the next week.
Okay.
7th we are starting, right? So today, exclude whatever we are doing it today. From 7th we are starting from the setting up of the environments.
Yeah, and it will take up until 10th, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 4 days a week.
Yes, it's a 4-day class, but if it is not sufficient, then definitely it will go get carried to the next week.
Okay. So basically, every week we would be covering those. Can I just go back to the previous slide if you could? Okay. So basically, we would be covering each module in a week's time, more or less.
See, there is no such time frame. It depends how much the participant grabs it.
Okay.
The NetMiko will be having too many classes when compared to the rest of them. So it's not that every module will be like a weekly divided.
Okay.
So depending upon case studies, one could be little more, one could be little less.
Okay, got it. Thank
you.
Yeah.
How far will the recordings will be becoming available? Because as I can see, the demo first lecture just became available prior to this class a few minutes back. So how will be during the regular course time? How will the recordings will be available? Because in that cases, the next lecture priorly only a few minutes back, if the recording gets available, it will be hard to recollect the things.
No, wait. For the regular class, we have a portal called learn.network journey. So you will get all the recording. You will in fact have the access to the portal. And the recording will be visible just after 1 to 2 hours of our class is winded up. So let's say if the class is winded up now 10 p.m., just in next 1 hour, the recording will come back, come automatically in this portal, which you would be having the access to. And this portal is lifetime access. We don't do it like 3-month access or 1 year access. It's a lifetime access. The one course which you take from us, that will be visible under your account.
Okay.
Only the demo thing, the 2 recording went just few minutes back because as a reminder. Later on, it's the other way. You will have the access to another portal. We will not put any recording in the YouTube channel. It will be on a dedicated portal.
But the recordings will be getting available after 1 and 2 hours of the class, right?
Yes, correct. Because this, see what happens is, as soon as I end my live session, it will go to AWS cloud in the backend, get kind of synced up, and then that will be visible to the participant. So that whole process will take some 1 to 1.5 hours in the backend.
Okay.
Okay, so guys, since we are time bounded for the demo class, let me give you some quick examples now. So let's say example number 1, which we also did in the last class. So from this script, from this automation script, we were expecting output of few commands like show IP int brief and show clock from this particular device 24.25. Now this is my client. Okay, this is my client. Where is the server? Server in the sense, where is this located? This is located in this particular lab. So if you see, this is the lab which you guys would be receiving. So this is where I will show you the initial config, etc., etc. So right now I have already done few devices configured. I have configured the management interface 24.25, which is what I have entered here. If I want one more device in a loop, let me take one more IP. Show IP int brief, enter. So 24.27. Let me keep it here. Okay. Now, how do I trigger this? I'll right click on this and run. So it is asking me for the password. I'll say it's Cisco. I have the output. I'll go to the second device and I'll enter the password and I have the output. Now we can do a lot of enhancement, which I'll do it in the live class. I can, hide the secret. I want to keep this in a notepad. Let's say I have 100 devices and I'm not, very interested to keep in the script because 100 devices keeping in the script would take unwanted lines here. So I can keep a file for a complete list of device. If I want to add some banner or if I want to capture this output and store somewhere in my local drives, like a text format, which I can attach it to any ticketing tool, or I can email, or if I'm having a dedicated server to keep a backup. So everything can be done, which will be the enhancement part. So this is just an example for now. So this example is when I contacted two Cisco devices on .25, .27, gave the password in a real-time execution and fetch the output for show IP into brief and show clock. Now, what is what? I don't want to bring that confusion. We will have to first cover up theory, then we will get to understand what is what. So this is a dictionary, this is a list, this is a for loop. Lot of things comes which you need to be aware of. So I will not get into depth of what is what. Just enjoy the automation happening in the demo class today. Later on, this is all part of your curriculum itself, where you have to do it yourself, plus you will be seeing it me doing in the live class first. So this is when I wanted to fetch something. Now let me go to one more example. So this is the example where let's say I put a wrong credential. Let me show you what is a drawback of a Python network automation. I'll just re-execute this. I got two devices. It is asking me for the password and I am gonna put a wrong password. When I put a wrong password, what is the behavior of Python script is it will instantly terminate. It will not go to the second device. It will never go to the third as well. That is how the NetMiko is designed. Okay, the connection happens one after one. So if your first device fails, or out of 100 device, one of the device which is at the center get failed, the script will terminate instantly. So how do you handle this? So to handle that, we can introduce something called the while loop iteration with the NetMiko's SSH authentication exception. This is also called as file handling, or you can also call it as exceptional scenarios. So in the script, what I have done is I have introduced few things which will prompt me for at least 4 to 5 times in the Cisco devices, so that I have a time to correct my credentials. I'll show you that. You will understand it better when you see them. See, this is my first device. I'm giving a wrong attempt. My script will not terminate. Instead, it will give me the second attempt now. See, second attempt on the same device, 25. I'll put a wrong attempt once more. See, enter the password. I gave a wrong attempt. The script is still not terminated. It is giving me the third attempt. I'll do it one more wrong attempt, and then I'll do the good attempt. Okay, so failed attempt. Now for final case, I'll put the right attempt. See, there I go. I got logged in, I fetched something, and then I moved to the next device. You put a wrong attempt on the second device. Let's say you have 100 device put up in a notepad and you want to execute one after one. And even if one fails, script will not terminate in this scenario. Instead, it will keep you certain prompts. So let's say Cisco allows you 4 failed attempts. Then you can put that logic here. And when you put a right attempt, you will break from that loop and get into the next device now. So see, 27 will go to the next device. So you have the output. Let's say your first attempt itself is good. Then it will instantly go to the next box. See, now it went to dot 20. You put a right attempt. See, you went to dot 18. So to understand this, what I have done is I have added certain thing called while loop iteration. I'll tell you where does this come. When we cover the Python theory, it would be somewhere discussed. The exceptional handling will come over here. See, this is the one we would be talking this. This is the module 2, loop, while loop iteration. Okay, so you will understand what does this while loop is about and what does this do. You can think about any other logic as well, requirement as well. Let's say there is certain inputs that you are expecting, four inputs from the executor or the users, and you want to introduce this logic in the script. So this is where you will do that in an existing script. Yes, Veera, you have raised your hand. You can just ask me.
Yeah. So is it possible to fetch passwords from a file
Yes, you can read
instead
anything.
of manually typing in? Yeah.
Yes, you can read the content from the text file. Okay, but that is not the expected requirement in this script, so I didn't disclose that.
Okay.
Okay. All right, I'll show you one more example. Let me see what is this example. Okay, so this example is when the management is asking you to create certain audit report. They want you to give them an Excel spreadsheet with the management IP, host name, the current iOS version, the image path, etc., etc. Now I will plan that. Let me keep this path where I would like to generate an Excel file. So I go and define a path inside my script. I say that I would like to get this file generated with certain regular expression introduced, regex. We call it as regex. These are some of the patterns that I'm using. This pattern should be run against this CLI commands, show version and show interface, because these are the two commands which will give me most of the details that I need to create my spreadsheet. I need a column for host name. I need a IP address column, uptime, serial, processor ID, image path, and reload reason. And to get the data for me, show version and show interface will give me all the data. If you want to check, I'll just show you here. Let's say show version. So when you do collect show version, you will get uptime here. You get uptime, you get the image path, you get the last reload reason. Similar way, if you check for show interface, you will get the management IP address, right? So first you will decide what are those show command which will give you the data, and then you will start creating a regex pattern for that. So I have some pattern here. Now this pattern will be queried against this data. It's all happening in the real device, real time. I'm not running the regex in something stored in the backend. That is not my purpose, because on a real box there is chances something could have been changed now. So how could I run a report on an outdated data? That doesn't make sense, right? So I'm running it on a real box, on this devices, over on this credentials, over on this two commands. These are my patterns. I'm expecting a CSV file getting generated with this headlines. Okay. And I have a folder with empty content inside this. Let me run this script and let's wait, sit, relax. You will get your file executed, completely ready to go or ready to send to the management. See, job is completed. On the other side, open this and you have your report from the real device. So you have a serial, you have a processor ID, you have a image path, you have a reason if in case they rebooted, everything. Now I'll tell you before someone asks me a question. I'll tell you this is also one topic of my project where I ask the participant to make another type of CSV where I ask them to give me the utilization in percentage. Now the student has to work on a similar script but with a different set of columns. So he will work on a utilization. Let's say I will ask him what is the free disk left in the device, or I will ask him tell me the CPU utilization going on as of now, right? So you can collect all the Palo Altos or all your firewalls or device and give me a report showing me what is the percentage going on. So this kind of things are done in the classes. Yes, now you can ask me if you have any question.
Hi, Sagar. To perform this all automation script run, need to configure something on switch. Is it?
No, that is what I cleared. It is a agentless tools. Okay, we don't need to do anything on the device. That is what we discussed before getting with the example.
Thank you.
All right. So fine. I think you understood the scope of this. Now let me show you something else. Let's say does this. Okay. Yeah. So see, I want to also tell you. Now there is something which always people ask if I am kind of running a script for Cisco. Can I also learn Palo? Can I learn for F5, etc.? See, once you learn it for Cisco or any generic vendor, the same script with just 1 or 2% of change you can replicate for any other vendor. That's why I have kind of put this example. This script is very similar to our first script. In the first script, we ran it for Cisco iOS. Agree? Now, in the script, I'm running it on Palo Alto. I'm keeping all the other things very similar. Device type will change and the commands as per the vendor will change. Now, I'm using Palo Alto commands, show interface management and show clock. So for Palo Alto, as I was telling in the last class, we will add you the Palo Alto FortiGate or F5 depending upon your need. Otherwise, Cisco is something which 80 to 95% people might be working upon. In case you need any other add-ons, we will add it on this lab and so that you can also use it. So for that, for now, I'll just show it on our different lab, which I had it. So I have a Palo Alto instance here. So let me show you certain commands that work on Palo Alto. So I hope you guys are aware of Palo Alto. Anyone who has never heard about Palo Alto firewalls? Okay, because this is something which is very popular, so I believe Palo Alto, you guys might have heard. See, show interface management is a command which will generate this output. Similar way, let's say if I do a show clock, and then I get the output of show clock. I have put those two working commands. I have changed the device type. Rest is all similar from my example one for Cisco. Now I'll just run this. It will prompt me for password. I enter the password. Okay, it says authentication failed. So let me once check, cross check. What's the credential for this? Okay, fine. So the credential were good. Let me once again check. 231. Let me see the management IP 24.231. Okay. Okay, so there we go. We have the output of show interface management and the show clock. Okay, the reason to showcase this was that the automation, network automation are irrespective of vendor. You learn one, you can replicate it on any XYZ vendors. Fine. So these were few Python examples. I would like to quickly show one more example from the API point of view. So whatever example we covered, they were all from the Python side. See this topic. So we saw some Cisco automation, we saw some Palo Alto. Similar way, I'll show you FY, FGT, etc. Now let me show you one simple example from the API side. How many of you are working on API automation? Anyone here who is working on APIs? Postman tools or Insomnia tools? So no one does any API automation. See, the API automations are very simplest option to automate. Very simplest. You don't have to remember or know this Python scripting. With just few certain calls, you can do, from the fetch to the configuration. So that is why I want to show you that example. So let's say I have my firewall, Palo Alto firewall, and I have its dashboard with me. So let me just log into this. Don't be kind of panicked by seeing the Palo Alto dashboard, etc. It's not gonna be a firewall class. I will not be kind of discussing on the vendors. Instead, I would be showing you the automation. The same thing you can replicate on SD-WAN, ACI, Cisco, anything of your choice. Because some people would think that why Palo Alto is not my vendor. I'm not a Palo guy, etc., etc. This is just to show you that automation can be replicable to any vendors. Okay, it was on its default password, so it's asking me to change that. Let me change this password and then trigger the API. All right, now let me log in.
Hi, Sagar. I have a doubt. Can I ask?
Yeah, go ahead. And
Okay. So just an introduction. So where all these are separated. For example, we are doing an automation, right? So where all these are differ. For example, we are using Python, we are using Ansible, we are using REST API. So where is the application that we are going to define all these kind of things? So I'm asking about we are using Python, we are using Ansible, we are using REST API. So how we are all using, for example, how we all are defining all these.
Okay, see, I'll just give you one example. So you're talking about like where it is defined, whether it's it's Python or it's Ansible, etc. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so see, there is a phase for any company where they migrate from a traditional to a automation cluster. Either you would be in that company where already they are running on automation, or you would be on a company which is still on traditional and the discussion is going on to adopt automation. Now the team will discuss that we have this options. We have Python, we have API, we have Ansible, we have Chef, we have Puppet, right? All the tools would be put down on a paper. Now they will see what vendors that we have in our existing network. We have Palo Alto, we have FGT, we have Cisco, we have SD-WAN, we have F5. Now they'll decide on what device on what protocol. Let's say this is on HTTP. This is, let's say, regular CLI over on SSH. This is again HTTP. This is again HTTP, right? Now they will start picking the right tool. So let's say for HTTP, why not I go with API? So the team will discuss about API now. Now, similar way for Cisco, which will not work on API, they have option. Now they will think that why not I go with Ansible, right? Now here is where the transition happen. They will start deploying Ansible on one of your VM box, and the APIs already are being given by the developers, the vendor developer. So you will start, installing the needful tools for API testing, etc. So this is how the transition happens. From Ansible, you would be automating all your Cisco devices, whereas from the Postman or from the API point of view, all your HTTP based thing. And this will go on a appropriate VM boxes. You can use window machine as a virtual machine, or you can use the Linux or Ubuntu box. So did I answer your question?
Yeah. So in summary, so it all depends upon our existing network, how it was built, right?
Yes. Existing network. What is your expectation?
Okay.
Now
What is the requirement that we are
yes.
looking for? Okay.
Yes, correct. Let's say you have only Cisco, but a very huge number, 5,000 devices in your core distribution and access layer.
Okay.
Right. And the scope is that you are making iOS upgradation. Now, what you would think is, let's go with Python with Nornia, which gives a multi-threading, and let's do the needful thing. So it's a phase when the team will sit and discuss like what's the requirement and what should I take. There are a lot of tools in the market.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so the Palo Alto dashboard has also come up. Now let me just show you a very simple example. I don't want to complicate this. I just want to show you one simple config push via API. So, object concept in firewalls, where we create some object group and put some host or network, and then later on we pull it up in a security policy, right? So I want to show you as of now, what do we have in this device? It looks like blank. I have been asked to configure some object group, right? So I have multiple options. I can do it via Ansible. I can do it via Python. But let's say the company where I am gonna start working, they are making use of API. Now I cannot tell them that I am only a Python fanboy. I will use Python. No, they are giving me the tool, so I should be using it, right? So how would I use a Postman tool to create? So this is where the API calls are written. We connect to the respective Palo Alto over on a port. This is the API calls. This is the username, password. I've defined all my credentials on the tools. Now to run this call, to run this API call, there is a button called send. So what this will do, it will generate some session key for me. Okay, I just created a session ID. Then I'll come to this. I'll set it up. This is my updated session ID. Save this up. Now let's say I have already created my own bookmarks. I have prepared a bookmark for creation of object group, or fetch the object group, or delete the object group. These are all HTTP operation. You do not need to break your head. We have dedicated topics for that. When we start API, there is a topic here where we discuss HTTP header, operation, status code, postman, lot of things which will come on the way. So I'm just taking random topics and just showing what do you have on your plate. Okay. Now let's say I want to create a new object from the API. I say that what is the date today? Let's say it's automation 2 August. Now this is the name of the object. I'll go to the body. I have a YAML format. Sorry, this is not YAML. This is JSON format. I say that let me create an object group called this. Let me create a IP address with the CDI value of 24. This is a part of this change window, and then I'll push it from the API. I don't have to remember any lengthy Python scripts. It's all graphical. I get the message. I get the status code 200. Okay. I come back and I refresh this. And I have the object group. I will click on it. I have that IP. I have the CR number. So similar way, in the class, I will show you how do you create, every operation of HTTP. Post is one of them, which will create. Get is like a show command where you fetch. Delete is when you delete. Put is when, let's say, you have a block to be defined, a complete block to be defined. Then you cannot use put. You have to use post. Put is only when you are making needful changes on an existing block. Let's say you already have an interface gig 0/0, but you wanted to add a description to that. You wanted to change a description. So that is when you will use put. Patch is when you are appending a data. Let's say you have IP helper 1.1.1 and you need to add another IP helper address 2.2.2. So that's a appending scenario. Okay, so all the operation will be stored with respective creation of object, creation of the networks, creation of policy, committing the changes. You can also do the commit from the API itself. I'll also show you how do you convert this API call into a respective Python script and also run it from a PyCharm or Microsoft Visual Studio. So for that, you need to install another library. Since these are all HTTPS, there is a library called request library. So when you search under the Python market space request library, you will find the appropriate Python module, convert back to a Python script and run the API directly from the PyCharm itself. So that's up to you which interface you want to use it. All right, so these are few random examples. Don't worry, things will go from a very basic to advanced level. I just try to put a mixture of everything, the basic, intermediate, advanced, so you know what are we gonna have in this batch. All right, so that's all from my side. You need to now contact our backend for pricing and the enrollment process. So let me put it over in the chat window. So meanwhile, if you have any question, do ask me. We have 10-15 minutes.
Hey, I got one question. Once you mentioned that in Ansible like it is we cannot use the API kind of configuration. So I'm actually doubtful. So that's why I'm asking that.
Rephrase your question. I didn't get you.
Can we use that API automation in Ansible or not?
In Ansible also you can use API. It's called Ansible Galaxy package.
Yep.
So when you
Yeah.
check, when you check this package, this all our API in terms of Ansible. Let me just show you quickly. When you search for, let's say, PanOS. So this is the package you will install, and there you will see a lot of blocks here. So these all blocks.
Exactly. So this was what I'm also saying. We can do that. Somewhere you mentioned that.
Yes. So these are all working on the HTTPS call itself, the Ansible Galaxy. So Ansible will support both SSH and API.
Yes. Actually, I work for Red Hat, and this is a Red
Uh-huh.
Hat product, so I know a bit about this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sagar, you yesterday you just told that you added one more module about PyATC something.
PyATS, yes.
Can you elaborate a little bit?
See, that module is for the regression point of view. Let's say when you are working in a development side, let's say someone asks you to see if OSPF is working or not. You cannot run 100 different commands of OSPF. Let me just quickly show you the different show commands for OSPF. Let's say you're working very closely to a protocol and you want to see the in and out behavior of that. You are a developer team, I can say. Now if you trigger this OSPF command with question mark, there are a lot of things that can give you certain knowledge about it, whether you are making a sham links in your environment, if you have any NBBR NBA network, you have any virtual link, and you cannot expect yourself writing all this 100 commands in Python script and finally get some conclusion. So this is where PyAT is used. You will just mention, I want to scan my OSPF. Internally, it will run all those 100 OSPF variants and give you a report that this is what your network is right now. So that kind of testing you can do it via PyATS. Yeah, I have one question from Jose. Yes, Jose, you will get the remote lab from our side, valid for 6 months from the day we start the class. I will give you the UNL, but I'm not sure the emulator that we use, the same UNL is compatible with this. Don't worry. You can use either our emulator or I'll give you the images for you, all these images. You can do it on your EVNG in case you have a pro version. You can just use it. And creation of UNL should not be taking much time. You can just add few nodes and a cloud and get it done. For any initial config, you can let me know. I will give you initial config for Palo, Arista, Juniper, Cisco, whatever you want. I can help you with this. Yes, as I told you, this is gonna be 20901 Cisco Devnet. So we are covering that.
Sagar, one last question.
Yeah.
In this course, we are also going to see, shall we also going to see the Scrappy module?
Yes, we have a Scrappy module here. So why in particular you asked that? You are using it?
Yeah, we are looking for this thing to integrate in our
Okay. See, Scrappy is a module to capture the packet, read it in Wireshark, or capture all this PCAP file, read it in the Python script itself, so that it can give you structured data in a very easy format. Yeah, that module is there already in our syllabus.
Okay, thanks.
All right, so guys, now what you need to do is these are the callback, contact back details. You can send your message, email, and the backend team will give you the best pricing along with all the required details. The class will start from 7th of Monday. We are starting from 9:30 p.m. India. So this would be 1 hour session for next 2 to 3 months. We cover Python, we cover Ansible, API, PyATS, and Devnet. So these are the topics. For much more detail on what is being covered, you can check the website link. This is where you will get all the detail. You want to watch the 2 demo class, then this is where you have to go and check for the 2 demo class that we conducted. In future, the enrolled people will get their own portal, which is located at this. Okay, and the enrolled guys will receive a Google form in the respective WhatsApp group. So after that, my backend team will send you all the lab access, the portal access, okay, and many more details regards to the batch. So this will take it separately in the enrolled common WhatsApp group. The team will share you some Google form. Rest for the audience who just joined, you guys can. So I'll just drop this in the chat as well in case if you're driving or you're just watching the screen, you can take this. Or in case if you can take a screenshot of the screen, you can contact me, after some time as well.
Sagar sir,
Yes, go ahead.
or as discussed in demo class 1, will we be getting help regarding installation of the lab in our own home laptop or something?
Yes, that part will come in the Google form itself. There will be an option where you can select you need home lab or remote lab. So the condition for home lab is you should have 16 GB RAM with 4 CPU. If you select that, my backend team will tell you the procedure. You have to download certain files like OVA file or UNL file and help them with the Ultra Viva code. They will join you over on the Ultra Viva. The backend team works between 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. India. So you can reach out to them with the Ultra Viva code. They will help you over on the real time to set this on a home lab. So that is the procedure. Okay, so just wait for the Google form to be posted in the group.
Okay.
Yes, Jules, if you have EVNG, we can give you the images. Okay, we can give you the images and we can help you to create a UNL for the same. So what else? Any other questions?
What is this actually UNL? Because I am learning it is something new.
See, UNL is if you know those emulators, these GNS or EVNG or this PNet thing. So they make use of UNL files. So it's like the internal part of those emulators. GNS make use of something called GNS3 file. So if I give this file to anyone, it's it's same as like giving you this lab topology. This lab topology is what gets stored in a UNL file. So let me just show you this by closing it. So do you see the UNL?
Okay, got it. I understood it logically, but still wanted to hear from you and wanted to confirm from you.
Okay. So any other question regards to the batch? All right. So if all is good, yes, Vipin, interview assistance, case studies, the MCQ questions, everything is put up in the portal. So you will get all the assistance, resume making, etc., will be covered up. All right. So rest of the things you can let me know. You can contact the backend and they will guide you as well. So thank you, everyone. Thanks joining this 2 demo class. Let's catch up in the real class from Monday. Take care. Have a nice day.